Hello, tubers and groovers, and welcome to this episode of Take the Fear Out the Gear with me, Jason Bangers.
And me, Mr. Chumley Warner.
We said Poly D, Chumley who?
Chumley Warner.
That was good. We'll replay that and have a listen. We said Poly D, you said yes. Here it is, the Poly D for you guys. Stand by. Simon, I've got a Poly D. I mentioned it in the video. Everyone's been going mad saying, Poly D please, Poly D please. But I said to you, what can we show them on a Poly D that nobody's shown them before? Because it's all been done, hasn't it?
It has all been done.
We thought it had.
Yeah, until we discovered something quite unusual.
We was slightly influenced by Ultravox this morning, and we were listening to We Stood Still. We Stood Still, or We're Standing Still, whatever you call it.
All stood still.
The bass line on that was done originally on a mini moog, where he just had a pulse going do 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 do, so it was like do 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 do, but you had to change the notes by hand. So we learned to play that. It was not expertly hard, but it was complicated enough to make us scratch our heads, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's trying to get the Arpeggiator on here to trigger the notes where you want them to.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to start them at the second you hit the note. It's almost like there's a clock running and it opens when the clock's running. It's weird. I don't know if you can get to trigger it without it triggering you, if that makes sense. But then I said to Simon, I said, that's got an external input, and he said, yeah. I said, it'd be nice to play bass guitar through that with that chorus on it. To which he agreed.
Yeah.
But we didn't quite get what we was expecting, but we got something different.
We got a sequence bass for a bass guitar.
So, trusty old Honor the Jack here. So, literally this. So you can do this with a guitar, anything that generates output. Basically, you can plug it in. Now, we're not saying that this is what you want to use it for per se, but you can use it for this, and also. You'd need probably two people, because if you wanted to trigger chords, someone's got to be holding down chords, and I don't quite know how this works. This is all Simon's department, really. But if I show you now, if I play a note on my bass, just one note, you get absolutely nothing. Right, what have we done? Oh yeah, we've got to put the thing on.
Yeah, and we got to put the harp on.
Yeah.
We'll put it on hold, and then if I press the note, you'll hear the pulse.
Right, so that pulse, that's the clock running, I guess. Yeah, and then if I hit a note on the bass, I'm playing the bass line that We Stood Still with just one finger, not having to pulse it at all.
And what you can also do, because at the moment all the oscillators are off, you can introduce a little, like say if we put it on the hold again, and we'll switch oscillator number 2, I think we used, that one.
Which is truly awful, but it just shows you with all these knobs and all these different positions and different things what you can get out of this. You'll be able to get so much more than just a keyboard stroke synthesizer, wouldn't you? Yeah,
and a tip if you're trying this, if say obviously you're playing C there, you want to make sure your guitar's in tune and then just tweak the oscillator just so that's in tune.
Yeah, that goes without saying, doesn't it? I mean, we haven't tuned it, obviously.
We've tuned it roughly to Jay's guitar, but that's just tune everything up before you go for it, or you say if you're doing a recording with it. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's quite an ingenious piece of kit. Well, we weren't expecting that. I don't know what we was expecting really, and we haven't even gone through different patterns and things. So we try it with a bit more tempo side. Give us hold a note down and let's play with the tempo. just turned your synthesizer into a massive bass guitar delay.
That's awesome.
It's bizarre. We haven't even scratched the surface, guys, so we're just showing you there's much more you can do with this other than just what they expect you to do with it, yeah?
The question is it time?
It's that time.
It's that time. Chumley stats.
It's that time again.
It is that
Mr.
time.
Chumley.
We haven't done it for a couple of weeks now,
No.
so let's give you some stats, shall we? So this is a 4-voice polyphonic synthesizer. Obviously, you've got your different modes. You can have it monophonic, unison, or poly. You've got 37 full-size keys.
What's wrong with the keys? Played beautiful, didn't they?
That is a nice keypad, and that you have got velocity and aftertouch as well on these. And you can patch stuff in to. You can play the aftertouch, and you can control the modulation as well, which is really cool.
Again, the aftertouch you've got to patch it in. Now it doesn't just happen. You've got to patch that in for that to work.
And you got the classic ladder filter. You got the built-in chorus, the same as the Roland Juno 60 chorus, which is awesome.
Similar.
Obviously, you've seen the Arpeggiator. You've also got a sequencer in there as well. You've got a distortion circuit at the top, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it really makes it growl.
And that's the kind of roundup on that. Obviously, this is based, if you don't know, it's based on the Mini Moog from the 1970s. People who've used the Mini Moog and will probably use these, bands like Kraftwerk, Gary Newman.
Yeah.
What's his name? John Michael Jarman.
John Michael Jarman. Well, our friends Electric, when that song came out, it blew my mind. I was only young, and that was all Mini Moog. That was. Do, 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 do.
And you got Vangelis, Vince Clarke, Rick Wakeman, famous player on the Mini Moog for sure. Now let's talk prices.
Yeah,
because
this is the bone of contention, really.
You can see why we love Behringer. So, if you wanted an actual Mini Moog, you can still get them new. We're sitting down now, so this is a good thing. They are £5,200.
Yep.
Now
that I think is reflected by the second-hand prices.
Yeah,
that's what they're making second-hand, isn't it, roughly?
Well, the second-hand prices have actually come down a bit because you can buy a new one for 5,000.
Yeah,
you're probably looking at 3,000 for a second-hand one.
Still,
which is just outrageous. Now Behringer brought out the Model D, which is like the Poly D without a keyboard, around 2018. Then a year or so later they brought out the Poly D. Originally it was £599. Now the prices have roughly stayed the same. Andertons in Europe and a few other people have had a special deal of £452, which is amazing. Yep. However, Jay scored a deal with this one. How much do you... This is a second-hand one.
Yeah, okay, so I'd like to thank Paul. All right, Paul, I know you'll be watching, mate, because I'll send you a text. Yeah, it was a marketplace, and this guy Paul had it up for sale, and he wanted $340 for it, and he said, no offers, don't offend me. But I very nicely asked him if he would sell it for $300 to me, because for an extra £100 of what he was asking, I could buy a brand new one. He wasn't aware of that, and he went, I did not know that Andertons were selling them that cheap at the moment. But something we haven't mentioned, which you probably do know, you can't see it now because we've turned the other camera off, but this all moves, and you can wedge it in whatever position you want, which is really handy. So yeah, for £300, if you can pick them up for that, go get yourself one. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, and one more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah, I don't mean no disrespect, Paul. I don't mean any. I don't think Paul really knew how to use it, because he said, you know, like I get sounds out of it, and then I don't. And I think what it is with these things is there's so many things where you can switch the oscillators in and out, and if you're only working on one oscillator and you accidentally switch it off, you'll end up with just getting white noise or your filter sounds and stuff like that. But it is fun to do that though. If you switch your oscillators off and just go through your filters and make them feedback amongst themselves, it's great. Well, it's some really spaceshipy weird sounds.
It is difficult because when we did the 2600 from Behringer, I got it and I just couldn't get a sound out of it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, was it broken? Obviously it's not.
Yeah.
Just don't know how to use it. But I don't be put off. Just dive in there, watch a few videos, people demonstrating, twiddle a few knobs and you'll be there.
What threw me with this tube is, and you'll have the same problem if you just buy one like I did, is you've got 4 oscillators, and if you're in mono mode it would be okay, but if you're in, I forget what it is, unison or poly, it will play, the minute you hit a note, so if I switch these on now,
switch it off.
I'll hit one note, we're going to get the top oscillator, second finger will be the second oscillator, third finger, third oscillator, fourth finger will be the fourth oscillator. And if you're holding down chords, you see they don't play exactly all at the same time. They're playing at random because they're playing in the order that your fingers hitting them. That threw me out a little bit. Alright, we haven't set a sound up for you for that, but just an example. So that's a bit confusing, but you get used to it once you've been playing with it for a bit, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
They are complicated, but then they were complicated instruments, you know, going back in the day with Ultravox. These boys had to fight with these demons, you know, they had to work with this stuff. And boy, did they. And when we was playing the We Stood Still with the with the ARP on, it was hard because you had to, your fingering had to be just right or it would slip off to a different note, you know, without the glide on as well. But yeah, they had to play for sure, didn't they?
Yeah, you had to set up your sequencer and the arpeggiator exactly right, or you can be on stage, you'd be way off.
Yeah, absolutely. You may say, well, do something with it. Okay, we haven't had it that long, but we've got a little song, nothing special, little tune.
Well, it demonstrates there's 3 or 4 sounds we've done on the Poly D, all original, because obviously you twiddle things and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the top tip is if you find a sound you want, take a picture with your phone, then you can go back and see all your settings.
There's no recall on these things, it is what you get.
But it's all Poly D apart from the drums as usual, so we'll leave you with that at the end once we've said our goodbyes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a loop, it just goes on, but it just gives you an idea. So as we give you something anyway at least. And then again, if you want us to do anything more with this, we'd love to, but just give us an idea of what you would like us to do with it. We know you've seen them, heard them, there's millions of videos out there, so we wanted to show you something different. As far as we know, no one's plugged a guitar in the back of one and done that yet. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that, and it is a bit special. I want to do a track with that kind of guitar-based bass line in, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's a real wacky effect unit. It's a bit of a big effect unit if that's what you're going to use it for. But it's certainly unique in its own way. But from this episode of Take the Fear Out of the Gear, it's goodbye from me, Jason Bangers.
And it's goodbye from me, Mr. Chumley Warner.
Please, 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 please hit the like button for us.
Subscribe, tell all your friends. Just, I've got to say, we're so glad for all your support.
Yeah, and ping the bell, notification bell.
We've had thousands of views. It's humbled us yet again.
It's humbled us, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's all we can say.
We're not used to it. We know there's big tubers out there, and we certainly ain't, and we don't think we ever will be. But when we get something popular and we got all them views, it really, it made us feel good, didn't it, mate?
One more thing.
Another one?
Yeah.
One more thing.
God blimey.
Well, we've done a pre-order just for you guys. The Behringer Cobalt and the Behringer Edge. They might arrive this week, who knows? But as soon as they arrive, we'll get on it and we'll do some sounds and give you an unboxing, whatever you want to do. So.
We'll bring them to you, viewers.
Yep.
Love ya. See you on the next one. Take care. Ciao for now.